You just got moved up to a higher grade of sausage is all. Sausage.
Swabs.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The El Pearly Show. Today, we are back with another episode of Fallout Smoke Spots. Today, we are going to be going to Pittsburgh. No, you don't have a choice. Yes, I am sorry. I somehow hadn't played the Pit prior to making this video, so I did have a lot of fun playing through it for the first time while I was making it. Oh, that was fucking scary. I enjoyed this one a lot more than Mothership Zeta for sure. I wish the Pit was about an hour longer and Mothership Zeta was about an hour shorter. Moving on from Mothership Zeta slander though, I do have to include a medical disclaimer at the beginning of this episode that smoking in the Pit will inevitably turn you into a trog. Symptoms include suddenly looking like this. At least with the Sierra Madre, you had the casino to look forward to while the poison and radiation was seeping into your bones. Although I guess if you don't really have a choice either way, you might as well make the choice to radiate your lungs with something that might make you happy at least.
Made me happy, made me smile. Nice.
The first spot we're going to be looking at today are these pipes in the steel yard. You can pick your own favorite pipe to smoke on, but this one right here is going to be my preferred spot. It's a pretty simple smoke spot, but the bar is in hell. We are in the Pit. Anywhere you're not getting mauled is going to be a contender for this list. Any of the pipe spots in this video are going to sort of be like a discount version of the next spot on our list, which is the Guardman Wild Tower. But any spot up here will require substantially less fighting to get to than the top of the guard tower, so kind of a pick your poison type of thing. You could even bust out your lunch and eat it here like an old school construction worker, although given the fact that you're in the Pit, I think the environment would smell like a mix of sulfur and hot ass crack, so be advised. The aforementioned Wildman Guard Tower is going to be the second spot on our list, and probably one of the better smoke spots in the Pit in general. Bethesda games, especially from around this era, have a lot of issues with making long lines of sight look good, but I think this area actually looks amazing for what it is. Maybe it doesn't look as good on consoles or just absolutely chunks your performance, but I think it looks really nice on my PC version, and I'm not running a ton of mods. Here's my mod list actually, if you're curious what I run for these videos. Looking down from this guard tower is one of the few times I actually believed I was looking at a lived-in world in Fallout 3 and not just looking at some building assets that Bethesda threw together in 20 minutes. It probably helps that you don't see the view model of the skyscrapers pop in while you're climbing it because you're too busy fighting the wildmen. Just make sure to give yourself a breather once you hit the top, because once you get to the top of the tower, there will be 3 trogs that spawn that will climb up all the way to the tower to jump you, so don't spark up just yet until you get those taken care of. If you wanted a different view, you could always jump on over to one of these pipes, but I would watch your step. It's a long way down, and there's no way to cancel fall damage in Fallout 3 or New Vegas. Just kidding. You can save and reload to avoid any sort of fall damage in this game. This game is unfinished. Are we really surprised? It doesn't even have to be a quick save or a quick load. You can literally just go into the save and load menu and do it this way. The third spot on our list is going to be a bit of a workplace violation and a moral violation. We're going to be going to the mill and looking down into the arena to see everyone fight. I think that sparking up something here may be a bit of an occupational hazard since you're literally in a steel mill, but something tells me OSHA hasn't visited this place in a long time. And smoking as you watch your fellow workers gnaw each other's limbs off for a chance at freedom may seem a little bit morbid, but hey, at least it's not me down there, right?
Find out if the newcomer can
Fuck.
hold against me.
Moving on from the evil-ass arena, we have the evil-ass Asher's Palace / Haven. I'm going to be using them mostly interchangeably through this video. Even though this extravagant building is built on the back of work-and workers, I still think it's one of the most extravagant and nicest places in the Pit, so we're going to give it a mention. I would advise against smoking near any of these corpses that have been strung up as an example, but hey, you do you. I would say that smoking in front of the Haven building would actually be an amazing smoke spot, but there is this giant effigy of a tortured soul right next to you, so that may get in the way a little bit. If you're a paranoid smoker, do not smoke anywhere near this fucking thing. On a side note, I realized while making this video that Asher's Palace is mostly just a normal skyscraper, and these steel scrap additions to it are what make it look so threatening and imposing. Fallout 3 deserves a lot of the shit it gets when it comes to world building, but I think the fact that this is very obviously a pre-war building that has had obvious post-war renovations held up by the forced slave labor of the Pit is actually a really nice world building detail. I'm just going to assume that the workers who created Asher's Feast were well paid for their work, and they were given health insurance after the fact. The interior of the Haven building is a pretty nice place by Pit standards, but it's still pretty much a shithole. Listen man, I think if you've got the time and money to commission a giant fucking stone bust of yourself to put in front of your morally ambiguous hideout, I think you've got the time to tell your lackeys to clean up. You have a child, bro. Pick the shit up off the floor. I'm calling CPS. So these next spots are going to be after you make the most difficult moral decision in Fallout 3, which isn't saying much. I don't even think this would be as difficult of a decision if Werner and Medea told you that you were going to be kidnapping a baby ahead of time. I really liked the pit, but I feel like the part where they don't tell you that, and they just don't tell you that you're kidnapping a baby until you get to Asher's palace and find it out for yourself. I think it kind of reeks of like this happened because movie, which I'm not necessarily opposed to. I don't think every media should follow a strict guideline of, oh, this has to be realistic, because that really doesn't make for an entertaining product most of the time. But at the same time, I feel like it would take away from that reveal of you getting there and eventually realizing that the baby is the cure yourself, so I get why they did it that way. I get they wanted to have a moment where you get to Sandra and you go, oh shit, all along, the cure has been a baby that is also impervious to gunshots. This is crazy. Can I fucking splatter the baby? No, they don't let you fucking... Does it let me do this shit? Oh, what the fuck? This game sucks. New Vegas would let me splatter that shit, bro. Yeah, no wonder everybody wants this baby. But anyways, I digress. I make videos on YouTube about the best spots to smoke weed in video games, so I don't really think I'm an expert when it comes to world building or script writing. Anyways, the next couple of spots are pretty similar, so I'm going to be lumping them together. I think this chair in Uptown is going to be pretty nice, but at the same time, I think this couch that'll let you see the entire Haven courtyard is also pretty good and may have it beat. Of course, if you want a little break from the most named NPCs I've ever seen in Fallout 3, you can go back to the chair, provided it's got a little bit less people around it. All of these NPCs have about 3 lines of dialogue and 1 character trait, but hey, they are named NPCs, so they still count. I think the chair gives you some isolation at the cost of a better view. Meanwhile, the couch, you may have to talk to a few people or shoot a few people, but it's going to give you a better view. So, you know, once again, pick your poison. For the final spot on the list, I made the decision of including Werner's evil ass hideout since I already went and included Asher's evil ass hideout. We had to be equal, of course. Werner's hideout is a pretty good smoke spot regardless of which ending you choose. It's drenched in the classic Fallout 3 piss filter, there's a place to sit down at this table, and there's even some free beers on the table that you can treat yourself to. Anything that you don't get negative karma for stealing in a Bethesda game is God's given right to be yours. Your divine mandate of heaven is what allows you to steal the 2 beers and bottle of vodka from Werner's living room table and be absolutely guilt-free about it. Although I don't know if you could call this a living room after what I did in here. Werner, I'm holding the best gun in the game. You don't want to do this. Werner, I put 2 bullets in you before you could even draw your gun. You're a fucking moron. Regardless, Werner's hideout when emptied is a pretty good smoke spot. I don't think you would want to smoke in here if you sided with him because the baby would be in here. I don't think smoking out the impervious baby would be how we find the cure, but hey, who knows. Alright, but that pretty much wraps it up for today's video. I know it was a little bit on the shorter end, but the pit doesn't have a lot of great spots to smoke in on account of it being kind of a hellscape, so I thought I would keep it short and sweet. My apologies for taking a little bit longer to get this video out. I know I was on a pretty rockin' upload schedule with videos for a little bit, but I sort of got burnt out on Fallout and just started injecting Terraria into my veins like black tar heroin. I think our next destination is going to be Point Lookout. After that, I'm not really sure. I was originally intending on making full videos for the Mojave Wasteland and the Capital Wasteland, but I think I'm going to put those off for a little bit because I honestly just got so burnt out for making Fallout videos. I think it has to do with just the discourse around the Fallout TV show being absolutely fucking exhausting to deal with. Anyways, I don't want to get into a whole tangent about the Fallout TV show. I can make a video talking about my thoughts on it if you guys would like, but that is pretty much going to be it for today's video. I appreciate you all sticking around this far. Just wanted to give you all a little update on, you know, kind of the lapse in production for a bit. But like I said, I really appreciate anyone who hasn't skipped past this part. Thank you all for watching. Check me out on other platforms, including Ko-Fi. If you enjoy the content, stay warm, stay tuned, and see you next time.